You're watching anime completely wrong. I know what you're thinking right now. You think you already enjoy your shows perfectly fine. But after 100 hours of research, I discovered something. A technique that transforms every episode into a profound experience. Most fans miss 90% of the actual content. They see the images but miss the narrative essence. This method completely changed how I consume anime forever, and it will change yours too. I can guarantee it. Stay until the end to understand the final secret. Here's how to become a truly active viewer today. My name is your guide on this fascinating narrative journey. Today you'll discover the strategic viewing approach for anime. You will never watch an episode the same way again. Let me explain why this works so incredibly well. The human brain loves recognizing patterns in storytelling constantly. Every anime follows invisible but extremely powerful narrative structures. These structures trigger dopamine release directly in your brain. That's the science explaining why we love shows so much, but you need to identify them to benefit fully. Most viewers passively consume their content without thinking much. They watch without really seeing what's actually happening on screen. It's like eating food without tasting the real flavors. You deserve a much richer experience than that, honestly. So here's the technique, broken into 3 main dimensions. The first dimension is recognizing visual narrative patterns in frames. Every single frame tells a story through its composition. Directors use camera angles to control your emotions deliberately. A low-angle shot makes a character feel powerful. A high-angle shot makes a character feel vulnerable or dominated. Warm colors create comfort or passionate feelings in viewers. Cool tones evoke sadness or mystery throughout the scene. Start noticing these choices in every scene now. Ask yourself why this color appears at this precise moment. Ask yourself why this angle was chosen for this important line of dialogue. This is the visual language that creators intentionally use. Once you understand it, everything changes completely for you. You see the hidden intentions behind every artistic decision. The second dimension is the 4-act narrative structure. Japanese anime often uses Kisho Tenketsu, not the Western 3-act model. It is a structure based on twist, not on conflict. The first act introduces characters and the world. The second act deepens relationships and develops what has been shown. The third act is the twist. It changes our perspective completely. The fourth act brings resolution, integrating the brand new viewpoint. This structure creates more subtle surprises than Hollywood often does. Watch Your Name or Demon Slayer with this framework. You will see how the third act flips everything upside down. Look for the moment your understanding transforms completely. That is where the real narrative magic operates. Now you can anticipate and savor these moments deliberately. The third dimension is active psychological engagement with the characters. Don't just follow the plot as it moves forward. Analyze the hidden motivations behind every action they take. Ask yourself questions constantly while you watch each episode. Why does this character make this choice right now? What fear or desire guides this crucial decision? How does their past influence this observable present reaction? This approach transforms viewing into an internal mental dialogue. You become a co-creator of the shared narrative experience. Research shows active engagement dramatically improves retention of information. You will remember story arcs and details much better afterward. Emotion becomes more intense when you analyze this way. You create much deeper connections with all the characters. Now here is the part that nobody ever tells you. These 3 dimensions must work together simultaneously. That is where the technique becomes truly revolutionary for viewers. During an episode, you alternate between these 3 modes. First, you notice the visual composition of the scene. Then you place it within the global narrative structure. Then you analyze the psychology of the present characters shown. This triangulation creates a unique, total understanding of everything. It is exhausting at first. I am not going to lie. But after 3 or 4 episodes, it becomes natural. Your brain starts doing this automatically after some practice. And that is when the experience becomes truly magical, honestly. If you are enjoying this video, like and subscribe right now. It helps me tremendously to continue these deep analyses. Now let's talk about the practical application method. You cannot do this during a marathon viewing session. The brain can't maintain this attention for too long. I recommend sessions of 40 to 60 minutes maximum. Watch 1 or 2 episodes with this active technique, then take a 20-minute break to reflect deeply. Use this time to write down your key observations. What visual patterns did you notice in those scenes? Where does the episode sit in the total structure? What psychological revelations did you have about the characters? This break consolidates learning into your long-term memory. It is inspired by the Animadoro technique from Japanese students. They alternate intense work with an anime episode as a reward. We do the same, but analysis becomes the work. The result is incredible retention of all the content. You will remember details that others completely forgot about. Now here's a concrete example with Attack on Titan. Take the scene where Eren discovers the terrible truth. Visually, notice the use of contrasting shadows and lights. The creators use chiaroscuro to symbolize the growing duality. Light represents Eren's lost innocence from his childhood days. Shadow represents the terrible truth he has just learned. The camera is in a slight high angle. This makes us feel Eren's vulnerability in this moment. Structurally, this scene is the Kishoten Ketsu twist point exactly. Everything we believed before is now completely questioned. The narrative structure prepared us without revealing anything beforehand. Psychologically, Eren shifts from simple hero to a complex character. His motivations become ambiguous and morally gray after this. We must reconsider his entire arc from episode 1. You see how the 3 dimensions work together here? This triple analysis makes the scene 20 times stronger. That's the difference between watching and truly seeing everything. Now you understand why this technique is completely revolutionary. But there's actually an even higher level here. Patterns repeat across different anime shows constantly. Once you master this technique on one series, you start seeing connections between shows. You notice how Demon Slayer uses the same structures, how My Hero Academia plays with similar archetypes, and how One Piece often subverts expectations. You become able to predict arcs before they happen. Not because this makes the stories predictable in a bad way, but because you understand the universal narrative grammar completely. It is like learning a brand new language for your mind. At first, you translate word by word, slowly and laboriously. Then you begin to think directly in that language. Active viewing becomes your default way of watching, and that is when the experience becomes truly amazing. You appreciate shows even more, you see the genius behind every single choice, and you respect the creator's work at its true value. Every frame becomes an intentional, thought-out work of art. You can never go back to old passive viewing. It would be like becoming blind after seeing clearly. Now let's talk about common mistakes to avoid. Mistake number 1 is overanalyzing at the expense of emotion. Don't forget to feel while you are analyzing as well. Analysis should enrich emotion, not replace it completely. Find the balance between your heart and your head. Mistake number 2 is forcing technique onto everything all the time. Some anime are made purely for fun and laughs. There is no need to analyze every gag in light comedy. Adapt your approach to the type of show you are watching. Mistake number 3 is giving up after 1 episode. This technique requires practice to master it fully. Give yourself at least 4 or 5 trial episodes. Your brain needs time to adapt to this approach. Mistake number 4 is always watching alone. Discuss your observations with other fans regularly. Dialogue enriches your understanding dramatically. Everyone notices details others completely missed. This technique works even better in an active community. Now here is the truth that nobody ever actually says. This method does not make anime less fun at all. On the contrary, it multiplies the pleasure tenfold. You discover layers you had never seen before. Every rewatch becomes a new, different experience. You notice brand new details every single time. The anime you loved become even better than before. Some you found average reveal their hidden genius. It is like having glasses that show you much deeper. You will never want to take them off. The technique applies to films and manga. In fact, it works for any visual storytelling medium. But anime is the perfect terrain to practice it. The visual and narrative richness in anime is exceptional. Japanese creators have mastered these techniques for decades now. They build works with precise, deliberate intention. Our job is to decipher this hidden intention carefully. This technique gives us the necessary tools. So here's your action plan to start today immediately. Choose an anime that you've already watched once before, not something brand new for your very first time. Watch the first episode with the triple technique described. Note your observations on all 3 dimensions during it. Take a 20-minute break afterward to reflect deeply, then continue with the second episode if you're motivated. Do this for 1 week with the exact series. You will see the difference by the 3rd day already. Your brain will start making connections automatically, and you can never go back after that point. It's a permanent transformation of your viewer experience forever. Now, here is why I actually created this video today. Too many fans consume anime without really appreciating it. They scroll on their phone during the important episodes. They miss the beauty and depth that is being offered. You deserve a much richer experience than that, absolutely. This technique gives you access to that richness fully. It transforms passive entertainment into active exploration of art. It is the difference between a tourist and a true explorer, completely. Tourists see popular sites and leave very quickly afterward. Explorers discover the hidden treasures of the actual places. You can choose what type of viewer to become. But once you know this powerful technique, the choice becomes completely obvious for everyone watching honestly. Let's now talk about the community surrounding all this. Thousands of fans already use these exact methods daily. They share their analyses on specialized forums and groups. Join them to deepen your practice even further. Collective discussion always reveals unique perspectives that help everyone. Someone will notice a visual detail you completely missed. Another will explain an important Japanese cultural reference clearly. Together, you build a total understanding of the work. It is the community experience at its absolute best. It makes anime even more enriching than before. Now here's the conclusion of this entire message today. Anime is an incredibly rich and deep art form, but this richness stays invisible without the right tools. The triple technique is your tool to access it. It combines visual analysis, structure, and character psychology beautifully. Practice it for 1 week and see the difference. Your experience will be transformed forever, clearly. You cannot watch episodes passively anymore after this, and that is the best thing that could possibly happen, because you will finally see what you were missing before. The beauty, the intention, the genius behind every choice. That is the real gift of this revolutionary technique. If you want to continue this discovery journey now, I have another video that complements this one perfectly. It explores overrated anime arcs that leave viewers disappointed. Once you master the triple technique shown here, you will also see which arcs lack real depth entirely, and you will develop a more refined and critical taste overall. Click the video that appears on your screen now titled 5 Anime Arcs. I regret watching all the way through. There you will discover how to avoid common narrative traps easily and how to recognize true genius from mediocre content. It perfectly complements what you just learned here. So go now and continue your viewer transformation journey. Thanks for following me on this deep exploration today. See you in the next one for more analyses. Happy discovering and happy active viewing of your anime.